September 2026 is genuinely outrageous. It is one of the most jam-packed months for video game releases I can honestly remember happening in my entire life, I think. The only remotely comparable months I can find are way back in November 2004 or in November 2011, so a while back. Don't get me wrong though, I get it. Everyone is just desperately scrambling to try and get away from the nuclear bomb that is going to be Grand Theft Auto 6 when that releases in November. It's hard to even contemplate the shockwaves that this release is going to send through the industry, good and bad. But what I will say is, huge respect to Barbie Rewind for having the cojones to take GTA 6 head on, releasing only 1 week prior to the biggest video game release of all time. Just know that I am rooting for you. Many others are also going to be rooting for you, but unfortunately we aren't going to be betting on you. I'm sorry. Hey guys, it's Max Smudge, and today we are going to be covering the best games releasing in September 2026, so you can definitively know which games you should be spending your hard-earned cash on in one of the most stacked months in video game history. So, Crimson Moon is a gothic Souls-like / roguelike that is going to be releasing on the 1st of September and will cost a pretty reasonable $19.99, which works out to, I think, about £17.49 for my fellow Brits. We will be playing as our own created character who will be a Nephilim, of which will serve under the Order of the Crimson Moon. Our half-human, half-angel warrior has been given the brutal task of taking back the already fallen city of Gildenarch, which has been taken over by demons, the undead, and even vampires. So from a gameplay perspective, the combat's pretty typical of what you'd expect from a Souls-like, but the roguelike element of the game is what truly makes this game stand out. So before each run, we're going to be able to prepare for the battle ahead by managing and upgrading our current gear, as well as being able to unlock new gear options to create the perfect build. When we spawn into the ward of our choosing, we'll be able to do things such as take on new missions, fight, defeat, get defeated by various mini-bosses, as well as finding lots of secrets and items which we'll be able to purify, which will allow us to permanently add these items to our inventory for future runs. The aim is, of course, to make it to the end of the ward, defeat the final boss, and leave victorious with lots of XP in hand. But with Crimson Moon being of the roguelike genre as well, this of course comes with the risk of losing gear and items upon death. So what the developers have actually included in the game is a life pool. So this means that, for example, you might start a run with a life pool of 4. If you die 4 times during that run, you will no longer be resurrected. The run will be over, and the only thing you'll keep permanently from the run is your purified gear and upgrades with a little bit of XP for the attempt. I must admit, roguelikes aren't typically my thing, but I will literally play anything if I hear it's a Souls-like. The life pool mechanic definitely makes the game a lot more forgiving, and with it only being less than $20 / pounds on release, I actually think I'm going to be giving this one a punt. Coming at us from several former The Witcher game series developers, yeah, this game doesn't need an introduction, does it? The Blood of Dawnwalker will be releasing on September 3rd on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. The game will take place in Vale Sangora during the 14th century, where war, famine, and the Black Death have all wreaked havoc upon the land. We're going to be playing as a half-human, half-vampire named Cohen, where we must fight to save our family, where our actions and decisions throughout our adventure are going to shape how the story of the game unfolds. One of the coolest gameplay mechanics in the Blood of Dawnwalker is how in the day, we'll be playing as the sword-wielding Cohen and have access to various magical abilities. But at night, we're going to be swapping our sword for huge vampire claws and dark supernatural abilities. And yes, because we're a vampire, we will have to feed. This is going to help fuel our abilities as well as keep favourable dialogue options with NPCs available, because no human wants to talk to a hungry vampire. It's also worth noting that completing quests is going to advance time in game, so you're actually going to be unable to do everything in one single playthrough. But this does mean that each playthrough will genuinely be hugely unique from one another. Excited? God yeah, me too. So only 1 day later, on the 4th of September, we are going to be able to get our hands on Capcom's newest action-adventure game, available on all of PC, PS5, Xbox, and Switch 2, Onimusha Way of the Sword. We will be playing as legendary samurai Miyamoto Musashi and will wield the mystical artifact known as the Oni Gauntlet, which will allow us to purify corrupt shrines and slay the invasion of demonic Genma. Like any good samurai, we are an expert in the katana, emphasized by our ability to dodge, parry, and deal devastating final blows. When we successfully parry enemy attacks, we're going to be able to build up what is called our blaze meter. Now, this is going to provide a temporary boost to our damage output, allowing us to quickly deplete enemy health and stamina bars like the expert samurai we are. Look, there's an absolute ton to talk about with this one. We could sit here for the next hour breaking everything down. Just know that I'll be making sure I get this one in before GTA is out. It's going to be my first Onimusha game, and I cannot wait. Right, so you've had a nice 11-day break now from Onimusha. You've seen everything you wanted to see. Now it's time to jump into Insomniac Games' newest IP. Marvel's Wolverine will be launching exclusively on the PlayStation 5 on the 15th of September as one of the biggest game releases this year. The game is set 3 years after Logan declares he's finished as Wolverine, but that wouldn't make for a very exciting game, would it? So he, of course, rejoins Team X to fight against Bolivar Trask, who is basically being kidnapping mutants. So we're going to be fighting across exciting locations such as Canada, Japan, and Madripoor, with hopefully some special guest appearances to help save the world. Like Marvel's Spider-Man, the game has a heavy focus on melee combat. Difference being, this is a lot more brutal than anything we've seen Mr. Peter Parker perform. We'll be slashing at enemies, severing limbs, even heads, with explosive close-quarter combat. Like in Spider-Man, there's going to be lots of unlockable skills and cosmetic outfits to not only mix up how we want to play, but also to look our absolute best self. For me, anything Insomniac's a day one, maybe even a collector's edition of a cool statue or wearable Wolverine clauses on the menu, who knows, but yeah, can't wait for this one. So Dune Awakening will be getting its console release on the 22nd of September. Now, admittedly, the game hasn't actually been the most well received, I think it's fair to say, since its PC release last June, but Funcom, the game's developer and publisher, have made attempts to rectify this with the PlayStation and Xbox release. So Dune Awakening is an open-world survival game where we explore Arrakis to find materials to build bases, craft new gear, weapons, and even vehicles. So for the first time in the game's lifespan, and what interests me the most, is that there will now be a dedicated single-player mode that will be added to the game. So if the MMO aspect of the game just isn't for you, you'll now be able to experience the entire game in solo with adjustable difficulties as well as simulated faction conflicts. So when taking part in these conflicts, we can use firearms and melee weapons just like you see in the films, but also use things like jetpacks and grappling hooks to either get to particular areas to explore or to give you the advantage in combat. One of the more lower key releases of the month for sure, but for any Dune fans on console, I think this actually might be worth looking into, especially with the single player update. So September 24th will see the release of Remedy Entertainment's brand new entry in the universe of Control with their new game Control Resonant, available for PC, PS5 and Xbox. We're going to be playing as Dylan Faden as we explore, fight and try to survive in a warped Manhattan on the brink of paranormal annihilation. For fans of the original Control, you would be completely forgiven for not even recognizing this as a sequel to the 2019 Supernatural action game. We're swapping ranged weaponry for what has been described at least as a shape-shifting tool. This is going to allow us to wield a slower but much heavier hitting hammer, axe or scythe, as well as transforming into either dual blades or a whip for that much quicker combat feel if that takes your fancy instead. The game is going to encourage aggression with no option to parry attacks. The only way for you to successfully take down your foes is by getting close, hitting hard and dodging anything they want to throw back at you. You know, I actually think this one is going under the radar a bit with everything coming out this month and then GTA in November. The 2019 Control was a Game of the Year contender, it's worth remembering. Until we've got it in our own hands, of course, we can't know for sure, but from what has been shown off currently, it's looking seriously good. But no, we still aren't actually finished, not even finished with the 24th of September, because on the very same day, we are also going to be getting the release of a new Silent Hill game, Silent Hill Townfall. Developed by Scottish indie studio Screenburn and published by Konami, Silent Hill Townfall will be releasing on PC and PS5. Now, I am assuming that this is only a timed exclusive, so I'd imagine later on next year, this is going to be releasing on Xbox too. Don't quote me on that, but I do think that's going to be the case. So what's so great about this release is that it's a complete standalone story, so you don't actually have to have played a single minute of any of the other games in the franchise to be able to dive straight into this one. And as well as that, the game is going to be switching to a first-person perspective, which is a series first, at least since the legendary PT demo. which is going to make for some terrifying levels of immersion, which, yeah, personally, I'm not going to be able to handle. I am terrible with horror games, but for you sick people out there who enjoy doing this to yourselves, yeah, this is giving me real Alien Isolation vibes. I think for fans of these types of games, you could be in for a real treat with this one. I really do. Okay, so naturally, with one of the biggest months in gaming ever, we've got a few outliers and honourable mentions that I think if I didn't mention, I'd be doing a disservice to you. So on the 27th of August, we have 3 pretty big releases all coming out on the exact same day. With it being so close to September, there's potential this could alter your gaming plans for the month. So I'd bear these games in mind before you lock in any pre-orders or put any cash aside, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So, Star Wars Zero Company, Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2, which will include Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots, by the way, my personal favourite, and Resonance, A Plague Tale Legacy, will all be releasing on the 27th of August. Outrageous, I know, but these are the times we're being forced to live in because of GTA 6. And as well as that, for any Top Gun fans in the room, if you pre-order the deluxe edition of Ace Combat 8, then you're going to have early access to the game, which starts on September 28th. So something else to think about, as if there isn't enough already. So after we've all woken up, once we've had our 17-hour lie down after listening to all of that, I think we've all got some pretty big and, probably unfortunately, expensive decisions to make. Being serious here for a second though, it's important to remember these games aren't going anywhere. There is absolutely no problem at all in picking and choosing what to play and just coming back to things in the future when either you have time, finances, or whatever else. I'm not actually sure what the best strategy is for a lot of these games, to be honest. I mean, I do completely understand the necessity for them to avoid GTA, but I'm also not too sure releasing all around one another is the best decision either. Ultimately, most people are gonna have to pick and choose, and it's not like we've got nothing else coming out in early 2027. I mean, we've got God of War Warfare and Fable both releasing in a week of one another in February. It is absolutely crazy at the minute. Look, all I'm trying to say is, I love games, you love games, but please do not put pressure on yourself to have to keep up with this mental release schedule. Just play what you enjoy and when it suits you. That is how gaming should be. But everyone, thanks for watching as always. I do really appreciate every single one of you. If you enjoyed or found any of this useful, a like, subscribe, and even a follow on X now that I'm on there would be massively appreciated. Please look after yourselves, everyone. Enjoy wherever you decide to play over this next month, and I shall see you all in the next one. Laters.